Welcome to One More Hour, the podcast all about backyard ultras, timed races, and the ultra running mindset of going one more. If you're an ultra runner, a trail or ultra runner curious about the format, or just someone who loves to test your limits, you're in the right place. I'm Jaci Wilson, an ultra marathon and marathon run coach, trail runner, outdoor enthusiast, and backyard ultra expert. On this show, I'll bring you stories, strategies, and conversations with runners, race directors, experts, and more to help you go further, dig deeper, and keep going when everything in you says stop. Thank you so much for joining me for some yards. Let's get started with one more. What the heck is a backyard ultra? Welcome back to One More Hour. I should have briefly mentioned this in episode 1, but I really want to dive into the details here. The root of the backyard ultra goes back to the desire to put on a fun event with limited space and limited resources. Gary Cantrell, otherwise known as Laz, who is the man behind the Barkley Marathon, started the backyard ultra format in 2011 in his backyard in Tennessee. You may have heard of the last man standing races or timed races. Technically, all backyard ultras are last man standing races, but not all last man standing races are backyard ultras. And we're going to get into the details in just a minute. So, a last man standing race can be any distance, any loop, any set amount of time to finish that loop. However, a backyard ultra runs under the same format every single time. So if someone mentions they're doing a backyard ultra and the loop is 6 miles, it's actually a last man standing. It's not a backyard ultra. So a backyard ultra is always a 4.167 mile loop, which in the backyard format we call a yard. You have 1 hour, 60 minutes to complete that loop, that yard. At the top of the hour, that's when every single yard starts. And it goes until only one person remains and successfully completes one more yard than anyone else. So you're probably asking, why 4.167 miles? Why not make it 4 miles? If you take 100 miles and you divide it by 24 hours, you get 4.167 miles. So if you want to run a 100-miler and you want to do it in 24 hours or less, the backyard ultra is an awesome format to help you figure out pacing for that goal. You'll see last man standing races will do like a 1 mile out and back with a big hill in it, like some serious vert. You'll see like a 5 mile loop or a 2 mile loop. Some will have a loop in the morning or throughout the day in the daylights, and then they'll have a different loop and a different distance in the evening. That's maybe on pavement and maybe it's shorter. If it's not a backyard ultra, it does not need to follow the same time and distance format. It's just the backyard format is 4.167 miles every hour on the top of the hour. So you have 60 minutes to run that distance, right? Which is about 14 minutes and 16 seconds per mile, which seems easy, right? I can run an easy mile, 10 minutes, like I'll finish around 42 minutes, I have 18 minutes to go. That's what a lot of runners think. Can I run more? No, you have to stop. You have to wait till the top of the hour to begin your next yard. So with whatever extra time you have in after you cross the finish line, or the line for that hour, you can spend it sitting down at your camp, at your tent. You can use the bathroom, you can change your shoes, change your clothes, eat, get more electrolytes. Some backyard ultras have an aid station, some are completely self-supported. So you can use whatever time that you have before the top of the next hour to do whatever you want. And we'll get more into pacing strategies later in different episodes. There will be a whistle at 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and 1 minute, and then at the top of the next hour when you begin your next yard. If you are not in the starting corral at the top of the next hour, you are done. If you are running to the starting corral and that buzzer goes to start the next corral, the next yard, and you're not in the corral yet, you're done. If you do not finish your yard within the hour, you are also done. Everyone but the winner receives a DNF, but please don't let that hold you back from doing a backyard ultra. I'll also talk about maybe the reasons why you should do a backyard ultra if you're scared of getting a DNF. You cannot receive aid until you finish your yard after you cross that line. Pacers are not allowed, and you cannot use artificial aid like trekking poles. So you can have crew, you can have family and friends and people out there cheering you on, but you cannot receive aid from them until you finish your 4.167 loop for that hour. Every course is different. Some are on a paved path, some are on a single track. There are some with like maybe a wide trail. Some are on a bike path, some are flat, some have elevation. In my experience, and from what I've seen with other races, the flatter the course, the longer the race goes. And that's how the original intention of the race was set, was if we remove all elements and simplify the race with a 4.167 mile loop so that we can hit 100 miles in 24 hours, we keep the pace easy because you only need to run or walk 4.167 miles per hour. And you keep it flat. How far and how long can the human race run? That was the original intention of the race. Now, the current world record is 119 yards or hours, which is just under 500 miles. It's 495 some odd miles. That was set just this past June 2025, by Phil Gore. That keeps on getting set every single year. That ceiling keeps on getting raised, which is absolutely incredible. Some races are silver ticket or bronze ticket races. So you can run a backyard ultra and it's just a backyard ultra. Some backyard ultras are what they consider silver ticket races, and some are considered bronze ticket races. If you win a bronze ticket race, you get an entry into a silver ticket race. And you're like, what the heck is that? If you win a silver ticket, or you are one of the top performers on the at-large list on the Backyard Ultra website, you qualify for Big's Backyard, which is something that a lot of runners kind of have on their bucket list when they get into the Backyard Ultra, and we're going to talk about more of that. But we run Backyard Ultras for many different reasons, right? Just like we run for many different reasons. But two of the biggest reasons that we run Backyard Ultras are for the community and for the push to run further and farther than we have ever ran before. So the ultimate goal for a lot of people is Big's Backyard Ultra, which is the World Individual Championship. This year it's on October 18th, 2025. But there's so many different reasons why we run Backyard Ultras, and we'll talk more about the benefits, the pros and the cons of like a backyard versus a timed race versus a set fixed distance race in our different podcast episodes. However, with the Backyard Ultra, there is only one winner if one person completes one more yard than anyone else within the hour. So if we have two people set out on the next yard and one does not finish, but the second person does complete their yard within the hour, that second person wins because they have completed one more yard than anyone else. But if two people set out and both successfully complete that yard, but one decides not to go back out for the next one, that other person needs to run solo and successfully complete one more yard within the hour to be considered the winner. So if they succeed, they win. If they do not, if there is no winner, if both of those people quit and don't go out for one more lap, if that one person goes out for their last yard and they come in at 63 minutes, they don't win. It's a DNF. Everyone takes a DNF. When you decide to be done in the backyard, it's a DNF unless you have completed one more yard than everyone else in the race. In later episodes, we're going to dive deeper into pacing strategies, nutrition strategies, training strategies. We're going to hear from runners, from crew members, from race directors, from volunteers, from professionals like registered dietitians, sports psychologists, physical therapists, sleep therapists, and so forth. So we're going to get into the ins and outs of the rationale behind walking, how to go one more hour after hour after hour, maybe some mindset strategies, and so much more, all related to the backyard and the ultra mindset of going one more. Please let me know if you have a specific person that you'd like to hear from on the podcast, or if there's a specific topic you want to learn more about, because I will definitely reach out to those people or do some research on who would be good to have on the podcast to talk about a specific topic. Thanks for tuning in to One More Hour. If you enjoyed this episode, hit follow so you don't miss the next yard, and share it with a runner who loves pushing their limits. I'd love to hear your own stories of going one more. Connect with me on Instagram at the One More Hour Podcast. And if you could leave a quick review, it'll help more runners find the show and keep going when they want to stop. Until next time, just go one more hour.